Hi, I'm Miss Mary. I'm the librarian at the Hilton branch. I would like to read two stories to you for family story time. The first one is The Three Little Pigs by Patricia Siebert. Once upon a time, there were three little pigs. They were curious little pigs and eager to learn more about the big wide world. One bright summer morning, they packed their bags and set off together. The three little pigs enjoyed being out on their own. On many a sunny day, they shared a picnic with all their new friends. Sometimes they played hide and seek all morning and then took a nap in the shade during the hot afternoon. The long summer days grew shorter. Many of the pigs' friends started to prepare for the colder days ahead. The little pigs realized they needed a house that would be warm and safe, just like the one they had left. I have an idea, said one of the pigs. We can each build our own house. Then we can have fun visiting each other. The first little pig was excited. I want to build my house as fast as I can, he thought. He grabbed the first thing he saw, some straw from a nearby field, and set to work. He did not spend much time planning his straw house. Instead, he started building right away. After a short time, the house was finished. The pig wiped his brow with satisfaction. But the other two pigs had doubts about the house made of straw. Maybe it's not strong enough, one of them said. The second little pig thought, what can I use that will be better than straw? He gathered up some of the strongest, straightest sticks he could find. He lashed some of the sticks together and built a frame. Then he tied sticks to the frame to make walls. Finally, the second little pig wiped his brow with satisfaction. A job well done. Meanwhile, the third pig remarked, it's very nice, but I don't think it's strong enough. So the third little pig searched everywhere. What can I find that will be better than sticks? He wondered. He came across a tumbled down building. There were old bricks all around. He decided they would be just right for his house. The third little pig set to work. Brick by brick, the house took shape. It took a long time, but the pig finished his sturdy house. He wiped his brow, quite satisfied with his handiwork. The two other little pigs shook their head. They were not sure this one little house was worth all the hard work. After each pig had built his own house, they had time to play. One day they were having fun. They happened across some wolf tracks. When the pigs saw that a wolf had been nearby, they all ran home and locked their houses up tight. Sure enough, the wolf appeared at the door of the first little pig's home. The straw house shone golden in the sunshine. Little pig, let me come in, said the wolf, grinning his wolf grin. No, cried the first little pig, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in, shouted the wolf, and with an enormous breath, the wolf blew down the house of straw. The first pig ran to the second pig's house. Right after they had closed and locked the door, the wolf appeared. Little pigs, let me come in, said the wolf. No, cried the pigs, not by the hair of our chinny chin chins. Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in, shouted the wolf, and with a tremendous breath, the wolf blew down the house of sticks. The two little pigs ran as fast as they could to the brick house. All three little pigs watched from the windows as the wolf approached. Little pigs, let me come in, demanded the wolf. By now he was feeling pretty sure of himself. No, shouted all the pigs together, not by the hair of our chinny chin chins. Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in, shouted the wolf. But even with a stupendous breath, the wolf could not blow down the house of bricks. He slumped exhausted outside the little brick house. After resting a bit, the wolf came up with a new plan. The three little pigs guessed what he might do, so they lit a blazing fire in the fireplace. Just as the pigs had guessed, the wolf climbed down the chimney. Before he could reach the bottom, his tail caught fire. The wolf could not pull himself up and out of the chimney fast enough. He raced away in a panic. The three little pigs stood arm in arm in front of the sturdy brick house as they watched the wolf disappear in the distance. From that day forward, he was never seen again, and the pigs lived happily ever after. The end. So we also have the wolf wants to tell his side of the story. And this is called The True Story of the Three Little Pigs by John Suska. Everybody knows the story of the three little pigs, or at least they think they do. But I'll let you in on a little secret. Nobody knows the real story because nobody has ever heard my side of the story. So this is the wolf talking. I'm the wolf, Alexander T. Wolf. You can call me Al. I don't know how this whole big bad wolf thing got started, but it's all wrong. Maybe it's because of our diet. Hey, it's not my fault wolves eat cute little bunnies and sheep and pigs. That's just the way we are. If cheeseburgers were cute, folks would probably think you were big and bad too. But like I was saying, the whole big bad wolf thing is all wrong. The real story is about a sneeze and a cup of sugar. This is the real story. Way back and once upon a time, I was making a birthday cake for my dear old granny. I had a terrible sneezing cold. I ran out of sugar. So I walked down the street to ask my neighbor for a cup of sugar. Now this neighbor was a pig, and he wasn't too bright either. He had built his whole house out of straw. Can you believe it? I mean, who in their right mind would build a house of straw? So of course, the minute I knocked on the door, it fell right in. I didn't want to just walk into someone else's house. So I called, little pig, are you in? No answer. I was just about to go home without the cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake. That's when my nose started to itch. I had a sneeze coming on. Well, I huffed and I snuffed. And I sneezed a great sneeze. And you know what? That whole straw house fell down. And right in the middle of the pile of straw was the first little pig, dead as a doornail. He had been home the whole time. It seemed like a shame to leave a perfectly good ham dinner lying there in the straw. So I ate it up. Think of it as a big cheeseburger just lying there. I was feeling a little better, but I still didn't have my cup of sugar, so I went to the next neighbor's house. This neighbor was the first little pig's brother. He was a little smarter, but not much. He had built his house of sticks. I rang the bell on the stick house. Nobody answered. I called, Mr. Pig, are you in? He yelled back, "Go away, Wolf. You can't come in. I'm shaving the hair on my chinny chin chin." I had just grabbed the doorknob when I felt another sneeze coming on. I huffed and I snuffed and I tried to cover my mouth, but I sneezed a great sneeze. And you're not going to believe it, but this guy's house fell down just like his brother's. When the dust cleared, there was the second little pig, dead as a doornail, Wolf's honor. Now you know food will spoil if you just leave it out in the open. So I did the only thing there was to do. I had dinner again. Think of it as a second helping. I was getting awfully full, but my cold was feeling a lot better. And still, I didn't have that cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake. So I went to the next house. This guy was the first and second little pig's brother. He must have been the brains of the family. He had built his house of bricks. I knocked on the brick house. No answer. I called, "Mr. Pig, Mr. Pig, are you in?" And do you know what that rude little porker answered? "Get out of here, wolf. Don't bother me again." Talk about impolite. He probably had a whole sack full of sugar, and he wouldn't even give me one little cup from my dear sweet granny's birthday cake. What a pig! I was just about to go home and maybe make a nice birthday card instead of a cake when I felt my cold coming on. I huffed and I snuffed and I sneezed again. The third little pig yelled, "And your old granny can sit on a pin." Now, I'm usually a pretty calm fellow, but when somebody talks about my granny like that, I go a little crazy. When the cops drove up, of course, I was trying to break down this pig's door. And the whole time I was huffing and puffing and sneezing and making a real scene. The rest, as they say, is history, says Big Bad Wolf. The news reporters found out about the 2 pigs I had for dinner. They figured a sick guy going to borrow a cup of sugar doesn't sound very exciting. So they jazzed up the story with all of that "I'll huff and puff and blow your house down." And they made me the big bad wolf. That's it, the real story. I was framed. But maybe you can loan me a cup of sugar. Thank you for coming to Family Storytime. I hope you have a good day or a good night, depending on what time of day it is when you're watching this. Bye-bye.